If you're thinking about moving to the Destin, Florida area and you want to be near downtown, this is the video you need to watch. What is going on? My name is Andrew and this is
AJ.
And we are real estate agents right here in Destin, Florida. And we want to tell you all about downtown Destin and where you might want to live.
We want to say thank you to all of our returning viewers, of course, our subscribers, and definitely any of the new viewers. If this is your first time seeing one of our videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so that you get notified every time we do another video. Whether you visited our area or if you live here locally, surely you've seen quite a few of our events and some of the just amazing nightlife that Destin has to offer. So what we want to do is show you where you should live or where you can live to be super close to the action.
And keep in mind, we are getting calls, texts, and emails all the time of people wanting to move to this area. So if that sounds like you, then all of our contact information is on the screen. You can reach out however you want. It doesn't have to be call, text, or email. You can find us on social or any of that stuff. But let's jump right into some of the closest places you could live right here in downtown Destin.
One of my favorite places is Grand Harbor. These condos are kind of perfect for everybody because they have a sort of entry-level value all the way up to luxury. So there's something for everybody. Pretty much everybody gets a view of either the harbor or the Gulf, and there's a dock there, amazing balconies, and it's super, super close to the action. I don't know if I would want to walk there in heels necessarily, but it's a super short Uber drive if you wanted to say, hang out at home and then go out to dinner, but you didn't want to worry about parking, and plus it might seem kind of, shorter, mundane to drive that short of a distance. So just a quick and easy Uber drive so you can have a couple glasses of wine with your dinner and then come back, or, who knows, stay out later and enjoy some live music. But either way, Grand Harbor is a great option pretty much regardless of the price point that you're looking at. You can do live there or have it as your vacation property. You're allowed to do short-term rentals there. So there are endless possibilities for the uses of these condos. It's also got everything that you need right there. You don't need an additional gym membership because there's a fitness facility right there on the site. There's also tennis courts and a swimming pool. So you've got everything, and your guests have that access as well. So your guests have everything as well. So super great when it comes to marketing it for a short-term rental, and also pretty awesome if you wanted to live there or come and vacation yourself with you or your family.
Now, speaking of condos that you probably don't want to be in heels for when you're walking to the downtown area, at least I know I wouldn't want to, but that's a little bit of a different story.
I'd like to see that though.
And that is the Destin Yacht Club. So funny story about the Destin Yacht Club is I actually stayed on the floor of one of these condos once upon a time. Yep, not making this up. I was active duty military. It was like 12, 13 years ago. I was freshly 21, 22 years old. Mm-hmm. We were out having some drinks. My friend met some folks that were staying in this condo. They wanted to go back and hang out a little bit longer, so we did. And then we all ended up crashing there. They didn't have enough room for us because there was 8 of us, and I think it was a 2-bedroom at the time. But I remember how beautiful it was. In fact, I must have talked about this condo for 2-3 weeks after this. I was like, it was beautiful. There was this art. There was this golden elephant sitting right here on this thing, which I know has nothing to do with the condo, but it was just the overall atmosphere. I remember thinking how cool this was and what a great condo complex it is.
Make sure you get a golden elephant for your condo if you're going to short-term rent it out.
It'll be the closing gift of anybody that buys a condo at Destin Yacht Club, for sure. Destin Yacht Club also offers a swimming pool and a fitness center and, of course, a dock so that you can throw your boat in there if that is your prerogative. So whether you're living there full-time or doing a little vacation rental, which, by the way, Destin Yacht Club vacation rentals are a little bit more of a powerhouse than some of our other ones. It's definitely not at the top or the pinnacle of our rental rates for the most part, but it does generally a little bit above average. So if you're looking for a good vacation condo to make a little bit of extra money and then also stay in it for, your own purposes and your own family, then the Destin Yacht Club is a great choice.
Last but not least, let's talk about the Emerald Grand. I feel like this is kind of like the spot in downtown Destin. Not only is it right there across the bridge, like you can see it from pretty much everywhere in the local area that has like a water view over the bay. You can see the Emerald Grand, but it's so centrally located to everything downtown. You can walk to restaurants, you can walk to live music, you can walk to jet ski and boat rentals. I mean, there's just everything right there, and not to mention everything that the Emerald Grand itself offers. Like, they have some of the most beautiful pools, and they have an amazing spa. My favorite massage therapist actually was working there for quite some time. Best ever. So definitely check out the Emerald Grand. They're more of a I'd say luxurious price point. We get a lot of calls from folks that'll be like, oh my gosh, I see this unit on the MLS over at Emerald Grand for not a whole lot of money. And we have to remind them that is for a timeshare. So if you're looking at the Emerald Grand and you're thinking, wow, those units are pretty cheap, it's probably only for like 2 weeks out of the year. So don't get it twisted. If you see a big number, then that's probably the one to go with.
Yeah, and with the Emerald Grand being right there in the heart of everything, it's kind of, like you said, a big pinnacle portion of Destin. In fact, if you look at any pictures of Destin, you could almost always see the Emerald Grand here. These three big sprawling buildings. There are views all over the place, whether you're wanting Bay, you're wanting the East Pass, you're wanting the Gulf, you've got them, you've got choices for them, but you are going to pay that luxury price for them.
Something that's really cool about staying at the Emerald Grand as well, whether it's you or your guests, if you do short-term rent it out, is there is a little ferry that will take you over to the jetties. And so you can get back and forth, whereas if you were to drive over there, you got to go all the way east and then come down Gulf Shores. It's Gulf Shores to drive, right? So it's super way out of the way, as opposed to the ferry will actually take you through the pass and just right there over to the jetties. And it is so great over there. You've got like tons of shallow area for like smaller kids and what have you. But then you've got the jetty area and it gets a little bit deeper, but they have the coolest fish that are just super used to people being over there, so you can snorkel with the fish, see the little mohawk guys. I always refer to them because they're so much fun, but they're these like fish that hang out on the rocks. They've got mohawks, so I call them the mohawk guys, and my daughter and I absolutely love them. You can go fishing over there on the Gulf side of the jetties. Really great fishing there, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that portion of Noriega Point, too, when they rebuilt all of it, because we do have to rebuild it from time to time, it's a really big project. I want to say it was somewhere between 10 and 18 million. Don't quote me on the exact number. It's pretty expensive. But like AJ was just saying, you know, the little shallow areas, what they've actually done, too, which is really cool, is they've done these little pockets. I think there's like 6 or 8 of them where they basically created a barrier around it with these large rocks so that you have almost like a
lagoon.
Yeah, like your own little lagoon or your own little like zero entry pool. It doesn't get deeper than about 1.5 feet in that area, and the waves are completely non-existent. You get a little bit of a ripple from some of the waves, but it gives you a nice little spot if you are bringing the kiddos to give them a nice safe place to jump in the water. Now, if your budget does not allow for a big, beautiful condo right on the water, but you do want to be as close to downtown as possible, you have a lot of really good choices right here. In fact, you've got entry-level homes. This is, $300,000 or so that you can actually get right next to downtown and still be walking distance. So a couple of examples that I can think of just off the top of my head, and there's a bunch of these small ones. There's not really a really big suburb or anything like that, but a couple of smaller places. There's some townhome complexes like Pelican Place or Azalea Gardens.
Something that's really great about these places is that you're a little bit further away from the noise, but still close enough that if you wanted to walk, you could, or it's a super short Uber drive. And just keep in mind, though, if your goal is to use this purchase as an investment property and you intend to short-term rent it out, just about everything north of 98 is going to have no short-term rentals allowed. And that's regardless whether there's an HOA. This is deemed by the city. You will be heavily fined if you short-term rent out a property north of 98 in Destin that hasn't been grandfathered in. The reason for this is Destin is largely fed by tourism, right? So we have kind of areas where people can stay short-term, but then we need all of those people who are working those industries to have a place to live that isn't an hour away. So pretty much north of 98 is that area. That's kind of where people are going to live. That's where you're going to see a bunch of the locals. So don't look for an investment property north of 98. A lot of even our boutique short-term rental property managers, they won't even touch the ones that have been grandfathered in because there's a potential that that'll go away at some point. So just kind of keep that in mind.
And of course, if you're looking for more of a move-up style home or single-family home so that you're not as close to some of your neighbors with some of the upgrades that you might want, then we've got maybe 50 small neighborhoods just north of 98 that are just like that, such as Gulf Manor. And the really cool thing about all of this is if you do decide to live on that north side of 98 because you are living here permanently, like AJ said, you don't want a short-term rent, you just want to live here, there are crosswalks all over the place. It is made for people to live here and be able to walk right downtown without going through too many hoops.
But do please keep in mind that this is a vacation town, so we get a lot of out-of-state drivers that aren't really looking for those crosswalks, even though they're literally blinking at people to not drive over the pedestrians. It is your job to keep yourself safe. So if you are living here or even visiting here and you find yourself at a crosswalk at midnight or some other time, please just assume that every car is going to hit you until it looks like it's actually going to stop prior to getting to you, because the likelihood of getting hit is pretty high if you're not paying attention.
And for those of you that may have made it this far and you've not actually visited the downtown Destin area, we will have a video coming up as soon as I'm done talking here that you guys can click on. It's about Harbor Walk, which is essentially the main portion of downtown. You can watch it and kind of get a good idea, but it's restaurants and shopping and just a ton of stuff to do.
And we'll see you all at the next one.
See ya.